Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I can talk a little louder now because my family is awake now, so we're not encumbered by the, it's for me it's an accomplishment if I can just record this thing without having sound problems, but for me to have to whisper or to talk low makes my sound issues on this channel even worse. So here we go. I wanted to, as I like to do, I wanted to add some perspective to the situation this week where we had the market plunge and everything. These are the things that I look at when I don't really pay much attention to these temporary, glitches, or not glitch, but these temporary market fluctuations like this. I don't even care. I don't care if it goes down 50%. That's not how I think about it. The way I think about it is, okay, so here you've got XRP. And in 7 days, the last 7 days, we're down 19%. The last 30 days, we're down 16%. But the quarter, we're up 98%. And the year, we're up 466%. And so when you look at it, and that's not even to mention all of these others where you've got these crazy, like look at Cardano, 2,993%. And just look, when you look right here, because in my opinion, of all these on the list, of the ones that are not encumbered by a SEC lawsuit, Cardano, the returns in Cardano I see as the most legit returns, deserving returns of all of these digital assets. But when I look at Cardano's return, what I'm thinking is, well, if Cardano did this, I know what this is going to do when we don't have an SEC lawsuit hanging over our heads. And don't forget, XRP's global. This is about much bigger things than just the SEC or the United States. This is a global thing that's going to change the whole world. And so this stuff is like Jeannie here says, it's peanuts, okay? He says, I was telling you, this is from a few days ago, I was telling you at 15 cents, I was telling you at 30 cents, I was telling you at 50 cents, and it doesn't stop here. This is just the beginning. Short-term price fluctuations are of little significance for the long-term outlook. A couple of dollars is peanuts for what's yet to come. In-game equals XRP. I totally 1,000% agree. I believe that this was all planned long ago, even before Ripple was created. And I think we can see some insight into that. I tweeted this out this morning. This is Peter Thiel right here. This video clip I'm about to show you is from 1999. And remember, Peter Thiel's the co-founder of PayPal. He co-founded it with Elon Musk, who, for a joke, keeps talking about a joke digital currency in Dogecoin. But that's not what it's about. Look at this. This is him in 1999. And I said, this is all planned long ago. In 2013, they announced PayPal Galactic, okay? PayPal Galactic was announced just by pure coincidence by David Marcus, who went on to start Libra, okay, for Facebook. PayPal Galactic's announced in 2013. Nobody has heard anything about it since, almost as if they want people to think they scrapped it. Same year, Peter Thiel's venture capital firm called the Founders Fund invests in Ripple, and the whole objective was to build a better Bitcoin. Listen to what he says here. Now, also, I want you to remember this. How many times Chris Larson literally created the phrase Internet of Value. How many times have we heard him say it? But you have to ask yourself this question. Who are the geniuses that Chris Larson was in the room with and had discussions with prior to coining that phrase? I'll bet you I can guess some of the geniuses. Listen to what Peter Thiel says in this clip.
Network. And that's the kind of choice governments like China.
And remember, this is 1999, folks. This was all planned a long time ago.
India, some of these other countries are going to face. They will either have to shut down the telecommunications network and make it illegal for you to own a cell phone, or they will have to basically give up the kind of monetary sovereignty they've had and the enormous power that they've been able to wield as a result of this kind of sovereignty over the last many, many years. And I think this process is already full-fledged. The dollarization worldwide is going to be accelerated enormously by the technology. Now, the second theme is a little bit more speculative, and that is that getting rid of money altogether, going from digital dollars, from any kind of government-backed currency to purely private currencies. And what a private currency or what private money, I think, fundamentally means is that there is no medium of exchange. You exchange value for value rather than exchanging value for something the government says has value for value. And whenever you have this intermediate step of the government saying something has value, that's where you have the subterfuge, the sort of legerdemain come in, the game of musical chairs where every now and then a chair gets pulled out and it turns out that you're the one holding a dollar bill that's all of a sudden become worth a little bit less. And the kind of exchange of value for value, the classic model would have been some sort of a barter model. That obviously has enormous transaction costs associated with it. These transaction costs go down in a digital age. And the kind of model that I think is the most likely to take place is one where you have other kinds of financial instruments that are very, very liquid. The one I would cite in the UML disagreement, it's a disagreement on emphasis, is I don't think the big fights on this are going to be fought in Washington, D.C. I think that, and actually it's for all the reasons Richard cited. The people in D.C. are completely backwards. They don't understand any of the technology, and even to the extent they can, it can't be stopped. You cannot stop things on the level of Washington, D.C. in terms of shutting down these encryption protocols, things like that.
This guy freaking knew back in 1999 what was going to happen. You telling me this guy in PayPal was not involved in this from the very start? You're darn right they were. Now, the other day I showed you this clip from Brian Brooks, and I went on a little rant about what he was saying here, because he's so right that our regulators can't come out and why can't they just come out and give some, at least come out and say that crypto's not going away, okay? And then I'm going to follow this with something.
Okay, so one of the reasons that Bitcoin is down the last couple of days is because of people's interpretation of the Chinese government's being believed to have said we're basically banning crypto. So you could get a lot of clarity and price stability by just knowing that the US government wasn't going to ban crypto. And this was a point that I made when I was still in government, was to say nobody's going to ban Bitcoin. All right, there's a $2 trillion asset class in crypto that's not going to go away. So let's start by saying it's okay to be in the asset class.
Right. So this guy is the only freaking adult in the room from government that I've been able to find, really, because he's thinking from a common sense perspective, while all these other slimy characters, oh, well, they're not going to, they've got the Jay Clayton mentality of, well, it should be pretty clear now, when everybody's telling you it's not clear. But I think it's pretty clear, even though we let Ethereum have a free pass, and they obviously had issued a security, but we gave them a free pass. But it should be clear to everybody going forward. No, it shouldn't be clear, because you guys aren't making it clear. But this guy, Brian Brooks, from day one has been a straightforward, straight shooter, honest guy. I love this guy. I respect this guy. Now, what's interesting is the second that he says that the regulators should come out and make it clear it's not going away, look what happens. This is the very next day, okay? I think it was the very next day. This guy is David Rubenstein. In my opinion, this guy, and I'll show you in a minute, but in my opinion, this guy might be one of top 5 most powerful people in the world. Watch this. Listen to what he says. Literally the day after Brian Brooks says this is what they should do.
David, I know you're a long-term investor and not somebody who looks at many of these day-to-day moves, but yesterday was pretty weird, especially when you looked at cryptocurrency, a decline of 46% for Ethereum. I mean, you feel moves like that and you wonder how much froth has built up in the markets. You wonder how much momentum has been driving things, and what would you take away? Even as a long-term investor, you have to pay attention to some of these moves.
Well, remember, crypto has come from nowhere to be a force in the market. It's, in effect, a gold substitute for some. And I have invested in not cryptocurrencies myself, but in things that I would say facilitate the trading of it in various companies that are helping to trade or make it easier for people to be involved with cryptocurrency. And I did that in part because I think it's here to stay. Cryptocurrency is not going away, just like gold is not going away. So yes, it had its ups and
Now, for that guy to say cryptocurrency is not going away, if you want to ever hear anything bullish, that is about as bullish as it gets. That's how you know that this market is going to go right back up to 2.5 trillion and way, way beyond. And I'll tell you why I'm saying that. This guy is just not just some guy on CNBC, folks. Okay, and I'm not going to go too far into this. I'm just going to I'm going to show you the gist of it. His name is David Rubenstein. He's an American billionaire businessman, philanthropist. Okay, but that's not what's important. He's with the Carlyle Group, which is important in itself. But then as you go along, he is right here, this is it, chairman of the Council on Foreign Relations. Okay, if you don't know what that is, I'm going to show you. But that right there, all you got to do is go to YouTube, type in Council on Foreign Relations, and you'll see Joe Biden speaking there. You'll see, the most powerful people in the world. But I'm here to tell you, this organization is one of probably 1 to 3 that literally run the world. Literally. And they are tied directly to the 3-letter agencies that we don't talk about on this channel. But let me show you their board of directors. And I'm just going to pick one, okay? Because like I said, we don't talk about 3-letter agencies on this channel. But if you go down their board of directors, first of all, you'll see BlackRock's Larry Fink, okay? You'll see Timothy Geithner, who presided over the 2008 financial crisis. And as you go through here, here's Stephen Hadley of Rice Hadley Gates. Well, who else? I'm sorry, Rice Hadley Gates and Manuel, who's in the firm with Anha Manuel, who's on Ripple's board or an advisor, their board or advisor, I can't even remember which one. Janet Napolitano, who's been in the White House. Robert Rubin. These are some of the most powerful people in the world. Madeleine Albright, okay? And I'll just pick one out here. This lady right here, you'll see where she was, and that's as far as I'll go with that. This organization runs the world, and when you see this guy coming out, and he's the chairman of it, you see him coming out and telling you cryptocurrency is not going anywhere. It is not going anywhere. If you want anybody to come out and give you an indication to buy the dips, what he just said, buy the dips, folks, because this genie's not going back in the bottle, and we've been right all along, and this thing is going to be massive. It's going to go way, way beyond where we are now. Okay, Lisa Joe Key sent me this. Bitcoin's growing energy problem. It's a dirty currency. And I just wanted to show you this. This is one of the things that the Bitcoin maxis are floating out there that, and who knows, it's possible. Elon Musk they're floating the idea that he's out here bashing Bitcoin's energy problem because Tesla is going to get into crypto mining. Well, they may get into crypto mining, but like I showed you in the video at the beginning of this, Elon Musk is fully, make no mistake, Elon Musk knows about XRP, knows about XLM, and I believe he also knows about what was Libra and is now Diem. I am convinced that PayPal is right in the center of all of this with those three, okay? Because those three are the ones that don't have all of these problems that all these Bitcoin people are trying to rationalize right now. And I think it was created that way from the beginning for a reason. I think that that governments created Bitcoin, and they intentionally created it with the mining because they knew this day would come. I believe that they created it to funnel the inflation that they were creating into Bitcoin and into these proof of work currencies that they would later come up and raise their hand and say, oh, we can't have this, and then funnel it where they want it to go. Boom. Bondcrypt XRP. Now, look at what's happening now. Look at what's happening now. So now the proof of work, the Bitcoin narrative is collapsing all around them. And what do? They pivot to Vitalik Buterin to talk about how great Ethereum is, which is proof of work now, but is transitioning to proof of stake.
It feels like crypto is close to ready for the mainstream in a way that it wasn't even 4 years ago.
So welcome in then Vitalik Buterin, who is the co-creator.
Anyway, I'm not going to play you the whole thing, but the point is that now all of a sudden out of nowhere, they're going to they're like, oh, the Bitcoin narrative is getting screwed. So now we'll focus on Ethereum because that's where all their money is Bitcoin and Ethereum. You can't have, hey, and I'm happy for it because I told you on this channel the other day, I think there's going to be a ride up for Ethereum 2.0. And so that's where, when I bought the dip the other day, I just happen to have some money in my IRA, and you're limited on your options inside of, not my iTrust IRA, but you're limited in a brokerage firm right now. You can only get those grayscale ETFs. There might be one or two other things. And the only ones that are open to retail is Bitcoin and Ethereum, is my understanding. And so I plopped down some in Ethereum just to ride the Ethereum 2.0 thing, even though I know that the digital asset, the smart contract platforms that are going to win is not going to be Ethereum 2.0, in my opinion. It's going to be the Cardanos, the Flares, the, who knows, the Codius. We're not allowed to talk about that. Okay, and then there was this from Gary Gensler from XRP Crypto Wolf. Gary Gensler says SEC should be ready to bring cases against bad actors or drop them against non-bad actors, in my opinion, like Ripple. Okay. And then we've got this. These two people are my favorite people in crypto. Julia Chatterley, to me, is the most honest and the smartest from traditional financial media. She is the top dog, in my opinion. I didn't mean to call her a dog. She's certainly not a dog, but she's the most aggressive. She's the most honest, and she's the most intelligent that I have seen cover crypto in media. And then Brian Brooks has been the most honest, straightforward, common sense guy and so just listen to them talk. And she actually shows and talks about XRP because she's being honest.
Broader sector took a pounding.
Exactly, because think about what stock prices represent. Stock prices don't represent how much money Coinbase made yesterday. They're the market's expectation of future revenues. And the future value of these things is not based on one day's price movements. It's based on the long-term adoption rates of the ecosystem. So again, that's what we all have to build here.
We keep talking about crypto like it's one thing, and it isn't. And this goes back to the point you were making at the top. We have to look at Bitcoin, at Ethereum, at XRP, if we're looking at that. And I'm mentioning the big ones here. We have to look at them as different assets, that they have different underlying technologies and purposes, because otherwise we can't differentiate. And in the same way that you would look at a stock, perhaps, in Amazon and say, look, these are the... I
love how she put XRP up 430% with Bitcoin and Ethereum showing those figures. I think that's great. Okay. I forgot to mention Link2. Keep checking back over on Link2 because they're adding new private equity to the platform every day. It's in the description of my video. You can go and check it out. This is the other side of the opportunity in this whole digital asset space. It's where I've been investing my own money too. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family to watch Julia Chatterley because she deserves the viewership.